Thank you very much. And this is the end of the program. So I want to be very brief. Otherwise, people will dislike my long presentation. So my presentation, in fact, is in line with how we are going to benefit through establishing a platform and how to attract the investment and how to benefit with all the partnership we can see in line with this community power. So as you all aware about UNIDO, UNIDO is a UN-based international organization working on the industrial development. So when we are talking about community and energy, basically we are mandated to do something on the economic strengthening for the people or the local communities. So our aim is not only for energy access. Anyway, whenever there will be program on energy access will be already inbuilt. But what our main target is how we can encourage or how we can make the system in terms of value addition, in terms of productive use, in terms of employment. So these are some of the very important things we consider in our mandate. So my presentation is going in the same line. Just to cut a little bit story, what I want to tell you, we have done a large number of community approach and we found that whenever we compare different modalities and when we compare with the community approach, there are always some kind of added advantage. Just to briefly mention three of the projects, what we did, like once in Bangladesh, we had another approach to follow, but then we converted into community approach and we reduced the cost of the project by 50%. And we reduced the time of the implementation by 50%. And it was possible because we followed community approach. Second project we did in Kyrgyzstan, and it was really challenging to finish the project. But because of the community approach we adopted, it went very well and we managed very successful implementation. And another kind of experience we did in a very remote and very poor community in Sierra Leone. You all know that West Africa is one of the poorest region. And within that region, when we went to a very poor village, it was practically impossible to think about any private investment and government to cover some kind of rural electrification in that region. But due to the community agreement to work together, we made the project with little bit investment, and till date, they are operating very well. They are very famous, and it has been reported by Oxford, Cambridge, Harvard, and UN system, South-South cooperation, and everywhere. So what I want to tell you that community approach is really very much convincing to me, and I want everybody to consider. Only we have done on a very small scale, and that's how sometimes still the cost looks like a little bit more. But if we can go for the larger scale, because of the economies of scale, either by the size or by the number of such kind of replicable systems, it is going to be very cost effective. That is my first sharing. I have listened everybody, and here I just want to figure out what UNIDO is doing in terms of any mini grid or productive use kind of activity. Our main thing is we are getting some kind of financial support either from JEF or non-JEF kind of resource, and we are also aligning with all renewable kind of options, either a single renewal option or maybe combination, and sometimes even we can comply with the captive gen sets so that it will integrate and it will reduce the burden on the expensive fossil fuel. We are targeting SMEs to benefit, and myself was involved in more than 40 SMEs across many poor countries, and majority of them are getting benefit and they are operating very well. Within this 10 minutes of time, I'm not able to share all those kind of things, but believe me, this is one of the renewable energy at community level. If we plan in a proper way, then definitely it is going to help we have experience from Africa, Asia, and South America, and Eastern Europe. And in this scenario, we are considering solar PV for a small size, a small hydro for considerable size of industries or SMEs, and wind we have little bit experience, and biomass as well. On the right hand side, you can see four figures. So this is one of the example. On the left top figure, you can see the ladies who are illiterate in a very poor setup, and they are using solar system of 0.5 kilowatt, and through which they have established an enterprise of water filtering and running, making cold water available in the market, and they are making a very good profit. On the right top, you can see it's a biogas system. It was in an island where they are using biomass or organic biomass from the fish market, and they are using it for running the whole market in terms of electrification, in terms of supplying gas. Then on the bottom on the left, you can see a community power plant was developed in India, in Kerala. When we initiated, there were 10,000 population benefiting, and because of this project, today they have more than 300,000 population, gathered over there, and are becoming an industrial town. So this is the impact of how community can develop and benefit through this community approach. And on the right hand side and bottom, this is a wind and such kind of 4 installation in Maldives and 2 in India we have experimented. It was a bit challenging because of the small size and very intermittent nature, but we coupled with the solar, which you can see some panels on the bottom. So that's how we try to achieve the sustainability. So what what I want to share with you, that even the smallest kind of thing, once we integrate with the productive use, it is going to be sustainable. Otherwise, it will be just a dreaming kind of project. So now, coming to another side, I have already listened many people, and one of the presenter from former energy team leader from the UNESCO, what he has given some indication that is very perfect. Whenever we try to invest any country, when we are talking about developing world, there are many differences among the countries, or even within the country among the communities. So we need to be very smart at the beginning. We have to identify what is the status and what are the requisites and where to start. And I'm not going to elaborate in detail, but what I'm trying to do in this picture, you can see 4 blocks. So every project needs to be aligned with what is the existing situation and where to start. If the situation is very primitive, then you have to go from the extreme left and through the capacity building, institutionalization, education, like Zambia. The presenter was making a very clear-cut gap analysis challenge that their institution and the human produce there is not capable. So if that is the situation, then you have to do from the extreme left. But if the country is already making some progress, like Alex was telling something about Nepal. Of course, I met him in 1998 and he was giving very good lecture over there. And now today, the country in 98, which was having less than 35% of electrification, today has reached more than 95%. So why it is happening? Because they built very good supportive infrastructure from the left extreme to right, and then there were World Bank, UNDP, they all are coming there and assisting them, and they entered into a scaling up, the 3rd stage, and they are now entering into mass application. So private sector is coming. So in community approach also, we have to be very smart. Now I'm talking about UNIDO, how UNIDO is going to benefit any of the partner who is attending to the seminar or webinar. And if you have something in your plan in the coming days, I ensure you that once you involve UNIDO, there will be a lot of benefit, because we have a greater network throughout the world. We have a lot of partners. We are, able to communicate on your agenda with the government and ensure them that they are going to benefit. Also, through the rules, regulation, and adoption within the country, we will ensure that your investment will be also in safe side. So there is always a benefit associated once UNIDO is involved. UNIDO is not a business organization, so we don't mind who is running, gaining more and who is running less. But nobody should lose. Nobody should lose their confidence or opportunity or the resources. So that's why we are very much careful, and people trust on this account. And I wish that everybody can get benefit through UNIDO involvement, and we are ready to cooperate with you. Then the next slide, what I'm saying is, because talking is too much not a good way. We have to deliver something. We have to deliver something tangible. Then people will believe us. Otherwise, just making a report, just conducting some kind of forum, or inviting people to just make a very good statement and good white papers. This is also required, but it is not the end. It is just the beginning. In the previous slide, I was saying the left extreme and the second one was like that. But when we go for the demonstration, when we go for the real execution, we have to follow something. So I have given certain suggestions. So immediately we need to establish a forum who will work really with a clear-cut mandate who is doing what. Then identify 2 regions within this WWEA initiative or something like that, 2 regions, maybe one in Africa, maybe one in Latin America with certain country where from we can get endorsement. Like the colleague from the Peru was saying that we are ready to do like this and we can get endorsement or something like that. So that endorsement from 4 or 5 countries to make a formal group will give you a bigger chance to communicate and convince the donors. For example, if we want to go to Stephen and ask him to give us the help from this Marshall Plan of Germany, or maybe through him to EU to give some kind of seed money to do some work, definitely they are not interested for 1 country or 2 countries. But if there will be a group of 5, 6 countries with the real potential and real plan, if we can share with them, there is a good chance. And that's how we can get some kind of seed money, which is my point number 4. And then identify the countries in a way that it should be a low-hanging fruit, when there is least work to do and most to obtain as a result. If we can do it, that will be great. Finally, what I'm saying is, many people were talking about innovative solution and something like that. But don't forget, you have to create demand. And how to create demand is one challenge. And then whenever there is demand, the consumer should be enabled to consume and produce and pay the bill. Otherwise, what will happen if you are facilitating with the electrification or something like that, and they do not have income, then what will happen? Their resource will, from the poor village, will shift to the investors who are sitting in the city or something like that. And that development is also not sustainable. That is going to crash, and definitely crash. I can challenge it. So we have to focus on demand side with the consumer ability to produce and pay. Then also supply side should be very innovative. It should not be a golden technology. It should not be a very costly technology. It should be a smart technology with some kind of cost benefit or something like that. So with this, I finished my presentation, but still this slide, the 5th slide, was not earlier I submitted to the organizers, so you can have a look. These are 3 of the samples for your watch. Altogether, three videos are for 20 minutes. You please read it, watch it, and then you will get a kind of feeling how we have beautifully helped the poor country where people were saying impossible, but we made it possible. So that's all from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Rana. And that was also excellent kind of even summarizing. And